Hey everyone, today I will be discussing E. coli, the 0157H7. It's a dangerous strain of Shiga toxin-producing E. coli. This organism is responsible for many of the severe foodborne outbreaks we see in the United States and around the world. I will cover the classifications, the disease it causes, where it comes from, how it's transmitted, and how we diagnose it, as well as how it's treated. So, for slide 2, this is the Shanghai toxin-producing E. coli. Major causes is foodborne illness, can lead to life-threatening complications. It is part of a group of pathogens known as the Shiga toxin-producing E. coli, or STEC. While most E. coli strands are harmless, this strand is dangerous due to the toxin it produces. It frequently involved in foodborne outbreaks connected to meat, produce, and contaminated water. Different classifications of E. coli is their gram-negative rods. The family is the Enterobacteriaceae. It's facultative anaerobe. The motile is Paratrichios flagella, something like that. Sorry. The bacterium is a gram-negative rod in the family of Enterobacteriaceae. It is facultative anaerobe, meaning it can survive with or without oxygen. It is also motile because it has flagella all around its surface, which helps it move through intestinal environments. Um, the key virulence factors. Um, the CGO toxin, STX1, STX2, locus of intersite effacement, the intimin adhesion, and it's acid resistant. What makes 0157H7 so dangerous is it is virulence factors. The most important area in toxins, STX1 and STX2, the latter being more strongly associated with severe disease. It also has genetic elements that allow it to attach tightly to interstitial cells, causing damage. Its acid resistance allows it to survive in stomach acid and to reach the intestines. The disease overview. Hemolytic colitis. You have bloody diarrhea, abdominal cramps, low or no fever. And this picture shows, obviously, at first when I seen it, I thought it was pregnancy, but shows abdominal cramps from the toxins. The organism causes hemorrhagic colitis, which means severe inflammation of the colon. Symptoms typically begin with abdominal cramps and watery diarrhea that becomes bloody. Fever is usually absent or very mild. The illness can be extremely painful and may require medical care. Complications, hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS. Toxin enters bloodstream, kidney damage can be life-threatening. A serious complication is hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS. In this condition, toxins enter the bloodstream and trigger destruction of red blood cells and kidney damage. HUS is most common in young children, the elderly, and can be life-threatening if not treated quickly. The disease frequency is most common in US, Europe, and Japan. There's thousands of cases yearly, and there's a lot of leafy green or outbreaks caused by leafy greens. E. coli infections occur worldwide, with particularly high rates in the US, Europe, and Japan. Like I stated, thousands of cases reported annually, but may go unreported. Over the past several years, outbreaks linked to leafy greens have increased because of contamination from cattle areas. And that brings us to the different sources: cattle, goat, sheep, deer, contaminated beef, water, produce. And the main reservoir for OH 157H7 is cattle, which can carry the bacteria without becoming sick. Their feces can contaminate beef during processing or spread into the environment, leading to contaminated produce and water. Humans rarely carry the bacterium without symptoms. And then it brings us to transmission. So transmission is usually fecal oral routes, like I said, contaminated food, water, and person to person in childcare settings. Transmission occurs through the fecal oral route. Most infections happen when people consume contaminated food or water. It can also be spread from person to person, especially among young children, since hygiene can be inconsistent. Like washing hands after, they use the bathroom, diaper changing, that type of stuff. The diagnosis, they can do different types of things, like the ELSA for the toxins, agar. They also do blood tests. Diagnosis typically begins with a stool culture. The strand doesn't ferment sorbitol, which makes it easy to identify using sorbitol, the McConkey agar. Sorry, can't pronounce some of these right offhand. Toxin detection tests like the ELSA can confirm the Shiga toxins, and PCR tests detect the toxin genes directly. The type of treatments that they can do is really no antibiotics, because it can actually cause more symptoms or worse symptoms. It's mostly supportive care. Dialysis if it gets too severe, for your kidneys and things like that. Towards HUS. Treatment focuses on supportive care, including hydration and monitoring. Antibiotics should not be used because they can increase toxin release and worsen the disease. In cases of HUS, hospitalization and sometimes dialysis are needed. Those are in severe cases. So that brings us to some new data in the past 5 years. Like I said, the rise in leafy green outbreaks, whole genome sequencing improves detection, STX links to more severe diseases. So recent research shows an increasing number of outbreaks linked to leafy greens, obviously due to contaminated water and water used in irrigation. Advances in whole genome sequencing now allow public health labs to track outbreaks more accurately. Studies also show that STX toxin subtype is more closely linked to severe diseases and HUS. So that, brings us to the conclusion here. I just talked to you guys about It's a major foodborne pathogen, causes severe illness. Prevention relies on food safety and hygiene. So, in conclusion, the E. coli 0157H7 remains a major public health threat due to its severe disease potential and its ability to contaminate many different food sources. Understanding how it spreads and how to prevent it is essential for reducing outbreaks. So in other words, just make sure it's clean. Do hygiene, wash hands. Make kids are washing hands. Try to make sure you have clean drinking water. If you're in areas where there's a lot of cattle and things like that, again, make sure the water, your drinking water, and you wash all your vegetables and fruits and things like that very well. So you don't get contaminated, produce and things like that. So I hope you guys learned quite a bit from this, and I thank you for listening. And you guys have a great rest of the quarter, and good luck.